Today, we will do a new topic, active and passive voice. The word itself tells you. When you read the sentence, you know. Active, passive, something is done to somebody. That is passive. Okay? Now, for example, when I say the hunter killed the tiger. That's active. Action is being done by the hunter on the tiger. The hunter killed the action done. So that's an active voice. Now, when I say the tiger was killed by the hunter, that means something has happened to the tiger. Something bad done to the tiger, to the animal, by someone. That's passive. Okay, so we're going to look at this sentence and trying to understand what's an active and passive. So I'll put up these two sentences. Okay, and then we will look at which is the subject, which is the one who is receiving object. We will look at that. Okay, now, so we are doing the topic called active and passive voice. The most interesting part of this topic is the active sentence we can change into passive. Passive sentence we can change. It's interrelated. It's very easy actually. The name may suggest difficult, but actually active and passive voice is a very interesting topic in grammar. So, active and passive. This is the topic with active and passive voice. Now, we're going to compare the sentences that I'm going to put up. I'll put up two sentences and we're going to look at it. Which is the subject, which is the object, what is happening. Okay? Now, compare the sentences. You're supposed to compare. Compare these two sentences. One, the hunter killed the tiger. Killed the tiger. That's the first sentence. Okay? And the next sentence is the tiger was killed. Was killed by the hunter. By the hunter. So here are the two sentences for you to look at and compare and see what's happening. What's the meaning of these active and passive voices? Okay. In both these sentences, the meaning is the same. The hunter killed the tiger. The tiger was killed by the hunter. The meaning seems to be the same. Okay. In the first sentence, the subject is the hunter. Okay? In the first sentence, the subject is the hunter. So, we have subject. have subject, then we have, and the hunter is shown as doing something to the object. Which is the object? Okay. The subject is the hunter here. In the first sentence, hunter, and the hunter's object is the tiger. In the second sentence, the subject is the hunter. Okay? The subject is the tiger. In the second sentence, it is the tiger, and something happens. Something is being done. So, the tiger is suffering because of someone is receiving. Tiger is receiving something. What's he? He is receiving or suffering by being killed. Okay. So the first sentence, the subject is the hunter, the doer of the action. Okay. Hunter is doing something. He is doing an action. Action is going on. Okay. So, since the hunter is doing the action, what's he doing? He's killing the tiger. So then we say it's an active voice. The hunter is very active. He's killing, doing something, killing. So active. The verb killed is therefore is said to be in the active voice. Now, we got the subject, we got the object. The verb here, the verb. The next one is the verb. We have the verb here, killed or is killed. What is killed? Tiger is killed. This verb killed, it's in the active voice. Active. Killed. So the verb killed is therefore said to be in the active voice. We are looking at the verb is killed is in the active voice. Active voice. So you understood the first sentence? The first sentence is, the subject is the hunter, the verb is killed in the active voice, and the object is the tiger, the action done by the hunter to kill the tiger. Now let's look at the second part, the second sentence. Let's look at, compare and understand the second sentence. The second sentence, the subject is the tiger. Something is done to the tiger. No? Now, tiger receiving the action. Tiger is suffering. The action is done on the tiger by someone. Therefore, the subject is not active. The subject, tiger, is not active because it is receiving. The tiger is receiving, suffering, done, action done by somebody else. So we call this is a passive voice. The verb here, was killed, is in the passive voice. So here the verb is was killed. Was killed. Who was killed? The tiger. The was killed is in the passive voice. Passive. Passive voice. Okay? Now, who is the person doing this? The tiger is the subject, and the verb is the kill, and then the object is the hunter. What is the hunter doing? Hunter is inflicting pain on the tiger. So now we know what is active and passive voice. Now, a verb is in the active voice when the person or thing is denoted by the subject is the doer. Here, doer. The hunter is the doer. Then we say it is in the active voice. So verb is in the active voice. Now let's look at that. Now we're talking about the verb. in every sentence, the verb, okay, is in the active voice, is in. Verb is in the active. The verb is in the active voice. The verb is in the active voice when the person when the person or thing, person or thing denoted by the subject is the doer. Is the doer. Is the doer of the action. Doer of the action. Okay. So what happens in this? When the subject acts or when the subject is active, when the subject is active, is the doer of the action, then we say that sentence is supposed to be in the active voice. That's number one. Okay? Now, let's look at the number two. What the second one? Here, a verb is in the passive voice. A verb is in the passive voice verb. This is the passive voice when the person or thing is denoted by the subject is the receiver. When the person or thing denoted by the subject is the receiver. By the subject is the receiver. Receiver of the action. Receiver of the action. So here in the passive voice, the verb was held. Is the passive voice when the person or thing is denoted by the subject. Subject is the receiver. The tiger is the subject, is the receiver of the action. So now, I hope we have understood what is this passive and active voice. Okay, now we are doing active, passive voice. When the subject is active, we say it's active voice. But then, if the subject is the receiver of the action, then it becomes a passive voice. Now, compare these two sentences. First, the hunter killed the tiger. Action done. Hunter killed the tiger. The hunter killed the tiger. In the second sentence, the tiger was killed by the hunter. Now, what's happening in the first sentence? In the first sentence, the hunter is the subject doing the action on the object, the tiger, and the verb is killed, is active. So we said active voice. The second sentence, although the tiger is the subject, was killed is in the passive voice because the hunter, what the hunter? Inflicting, doing something to the subject. The receiver of the action is the tiger. The tiger was killed by the hunter. Therefore, it's in the passive voice. So now you know what is active and passive. When the verb is in the active, is killing. The tiger, the hunter is hunter killed the tiger. So is killed. Who's killed it? Hunter. So that's active. And here the tiger was killed. Action done on the subject by the hunter. So that's in the passive voice.